temporary road surface. Oh shite! Oh, flippin' Nora. God, that's rough. Hey, welcome back to Duke on a Bike. Today I'm out for a little run to do a little test on the 360, but having it attached to a selfie stick, which should raise it up a little bit and help you see over the undergrowth. Yeah, it's not happening right now, but we'll see how it goes further along. So the idea is, as I mentioned before, I thought it was a little bit too low when it was positioned down on the wing mirror. So I've raised it up, so it's now kind of level with the top of my head, which should make things a little bit more clear when we come to hedgerows and things, and it might give you a better view. The other thing is that when I spin round to look backwards, basically I'm blocking the way. I'm blocking the view, so if I raise it up I'll maybe not block the view so much and let you see a proper 360 roundabout. I've not extended the selfie stick. It does extend quite a bit, but I think it'll probably act just like a fishing rod if I put it too high, so I've left it at the kind of lowest setting, which still has raised it up about maybe 12-14 inches, something like that, and I'll see how that goes. But I've started the video in the most overgrown area that we've got, I think, so you're not perhaps going to see that much just now, but it should improve as we go along the road. So I've not been on a bike for a couple of weeks. Things have got in the way. I've had things to do. The weather's actually not been that bad. I could have been out, but unfortunately I've just had other things to do that's taken up my time. The temperature's dropped quite a bit, or it certainly feels like it. I think it's probably the wind. It says on the bike here that it's 15 degrees, but I've got my liner in again, so it doesn't actually feel that warm. But it is October, so autumn is very definitely here. These trees in front of us will start changing shortly, which will probably look lovely. So this is the A710, and we're just out for a little spin. We've got the sea on our left, which you might be able to see. And we'll just take a turn along, and it's really, as I say, mostly a test than anything else. So on my last video I put some music, I put some run rig. Got to love a bit of run rig, which seems to fit the songs I put up seemed to fit what I was doing at the time, and obviously I properly credited them and things like that in the video description, and then YouTube mark it as a copyright, quite rightly, as it should be. And you know, if isn't that nice? And if anybody complained, then YouTube can take the video down, and that's fine too. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. But I do have a couple of issues with some of the way the kind of music works here. So, that's a lovely house. I hope you can see that. You wouldn't have seen that when the selfie stick was as low. Where was I? Yeah, so there's some music that is, I reckon, in my opinion, sort of beyond copyright, if you like. And I know that there is time limits for these things, so Copyright doesn't last indefinitely. But I did notice that things like some of Mozart's is still under copyright. How the hell can that be? The man's been dead for hundreds of years, for God's sake. But yeah, some music is ubiquitous, as I say. Now, I am not a guitar player. I don't profess to be a guitar player, but I'm the kind of person that's got a guitar and sounds good when you're pissed at 2 o'clock in the morning at a house party. That's the kind of standard I'm at. But I don't care. I'll play and I'll sing along. And whenever I used to travel, whether that be just on trips away or when I was with the army, I took a guitar with me. It was a little Martin travel guitar which some bastard stole. Terrific little guitar. Hang on, we'll get by him. Ooh, that's rough as hell, man. Woo, crikey. Ooh, flipping heck, man. Yeah, so temporary road surface. Oh shite! Oh, flipping Nora. Temporary. Bloody better be awful. So I used to take my guitar when I was away, and there are some songs that are, I think, beyond copyright. Take Me Home, Country Roads, John Denver, for example. It's totally and utterly ubiquitous. I've played that song in Belize in South America. I've played it in Zambia, in Malawi, in Africa, and without fail, people sing along. Local people who even don't necessarily speak English very well still sing along to that. Sweet Caroline, Neil Diamond's another one, that kind of thing. And they've become so ubiquitous, that's the only word to use, that it must be almost impossible to control any kind of copyright. However, that's it. But the copyright is not held as a general rule by the songwriter, and it is seldom owned by the band that originally performed it, which I think is wrong. I just think there's something wrong with that. Apparently most of the Beatles tracks copyright was owned by Michael Jackson. It just baffles belief. But the ones, if it's been up for sale, but generally it's the record companies that own the copyright to it, and they take the lion's share of the money. And this is where I have a slight kind of issue. There's nothing I can do to change it. I'm just having a little moan to myself here, but there was times in my life where I've said I'm not a guitar player. I don't profess to be, but I am, or was at the very least, a fairly decent banjo player. Not anymore, because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome, so sometimes when I go for a shape in the banjo neck, my hand just locks up and it's extremely painful, and I've just got to wait until it unlocks itself. Oof, that's rough. And I can't very well sit on a rolling G and wait until it unlocks when everybody else is playing something different. So, but anyway, yeah, I used to be a fairly decent banjo player, and in times, not as a full-time job, but on a fair number of occasions throughout my life, I've been a session musician on recordings, and some recordings actually you've probably heard. And it was a nice little way to earn money. You got a daily rate and you got your expenses, and yeah, it was good. I had a week in Ireland once, recording with a guy that was fairly well known in the 1980s. Stayed at his castle in Ireland. I don't know why I got taken over, because it's not like Ireland's got a shortage of good banjo players, but anyway, I got taken over there and got drunk for a week. By God, Irish people can't have drink. And I love Ireland, actually, I really do. And if you walk into a pub with a musical instrument under your arm and you're prepared to play it, you'll be welcome in any pub in Ireland. Great people. Anyway, I digress. So some of these songs that I have played on, I would like to put onto as just kind of backing music on some of the videos, but I'm not allowed. And the reason I'm not allowed is not because the songwriter objects. I can get the permission of the songwriter easily. The band that originally performed, I can get every one of their permission. It's not a problem. But I'm still not allowed to play. And as I said, I played on it myself. I'm still not allowed to put them on YouTube videos unless I want to run the risk of having what they call copyright strikes by somebody. Usually a record company wanting money off you, and it just seems wrong. It just seems corporate greed to me. In the same way that art, as in flipping Nora. In the same way that paintings, the copyright for paintings are owned by the original artist, rightly so. I think the same should apply to music. I don't think copyright should be owned by huge, mega global enterprises. It's just wrong, in my opinion. It should be the artist that has the copyright, and certainly the record company are entitled to their cut for their expenses and advertising and promotion and all that kind of stuff. But the way it seems to me is it's the wrong way around. And when you've got multinational companies like the big record companies are, most of them, they're only interested in money. They're not interested in anything else. So yeah, I don't know, it's just a little moan, I think. The fact that I can't, do you know, I can't even record in my house a song, playing the various parts myself, whether that be piano, guitar badly, or banjo, provided my hands don't lock up. I can't record it in my own house and play it to you on YouTube, despite the fact that I was one of the ones that was in the original recording. I'm not going to mention what the song was, because the record company are, well, you'll be able to know what the record company is then, and they might sue me. I can't afford that. Right, we've got to, where have we got? Oh, we've got to Dalbeattie. I've been yattering on and not paying much attention to where I'm going. Must be lunchtime for the kids. Oh, here we go. We'll not bother stopping in Dalbeattie for a cup of coffee. We'll not get served that lot hit. Oh, don't tell me that's shut. Ah, shite. Ah. That's another motorcycle garage shut. We're going to get to the stage where we've not got any in Dumfries and Galloway. We've got A&G Motors that I use, and that's just a repair. They don't do any sales. And I think that's the only one we've got left. That was the alternative, that Jardin's there, but it's bloody shut now. That's a nuisance. Got my bike MOT'd a couple of times in there. Right, so I'm going to try and do a little bit of speed and see how my selfie stick holds up to a bit of speed. I won't be doing excessive speeds, but we'll get up to normal national speed limit speeds or thereabouts. Resurfaced quite a bit of this. I remember I came on this road just after it had been done, and it was as slippy could be. It's not so bad now. So we're up to a kind of respectable speed now. The selfie stick still seems to be holding up, although it's kind of bent back a little bit. Yeah, if I stick to 60 it's not too bad at all. So hopefully you can see over some of these hedges at the side now. That's my plan anyway. Sure I like it. It is a little bit intrusive on the handlebars, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. If the footage is good, then it's worth persevering with it. Oh, rough. It's been resurfaced, it's as bumpy as hell. I think the road roller had a flat spot on it. Nearly got caught out at this corner once before. Somebody pulled straight out of that junction that we just passed on the right, just as I was coming round. But we missed each other. The only damage was caused to my pants. noise. It's a bit windy, you probably hear it on the microphone. I'll do a couple of shout outs actually, because I've had a few more subscribers. Thank you all very much for coming along. And one of them is that's worth mentioning is the Haggis Whisperer. I'll link him down below. He similarly has just bought himself an Insta360, although he's got the X4. He's obviously richer than me, but there's some fantastic videos with it, and he's been kind of learning with it, and he's been very good at putting up some tips and tricks with it, and also the software that he uses, which I've now gone and bought, because it does a fantastic job of taking out some of the extraneous noise from the microphone. I don't want no noise in the microphone. I think you probably still want to have the impression of being on a bike rather than a voiceover as some people do. I think it takes away from it a little bit, but anyway, oh god, I can't remember his name now. The Haggis Whisperer, whose real name escapes me, I didn't know it, has been great and offered to give me some assistance, but well, right at the moment I'm still learning to use the new software, DaVinci Resolve, but he's been using it for longer than me, so he's been very kind to say that I can contact him if I'm needing a bit of help, which I'm very grateful for, because I probably will at some stage. I like to try and learn myself as much as possible, but sometimes where you've got someone that knows a bit more than you, it's really useful. Yeah, we're still in a 40. So that was Beeswing. We're heading back to Dumfries now. I'm just going home. I don't have much time today. I've got to be back for Ben getting back from school so I can take him down to youth club again, and then once I've taken him down to youth club, I'm going to have to make a dinner ready for him coming back. My wife's away, so my wife's training to be a teacher. She's got a degree in physics. She's a clever woman, much more clever than I am, but there's a limit to what you can do with physics. So she's at the moment kind of certainly partway through our teacher training course. She spent about 8 months volunteering at a school to get a little bit of experience last year, and which was terrific. I mean, a lot of the schools were there we go, that's better. Come back down the speed. My selfie stick's tipped over now because I went too quick, so I don't think it's going to be a massive success. There we go, we'll put it back up. I need to find a better way of mounting it than the little ball mount things that I've got. So yeah, so a lot of the schools weren't keen to take somebody on to, I mean, they weren't paying her or anything, she was just volunteering, but she found it very difficult to get any kind of assistance in that regard. But one of the schools in Dumfries agreed to take her, and she had a great time, learnt quite a lot, and it gave her the confirmation, if you like, that she's was wanting to do this, because it was going to be obviously either make or break. Either she was going to love it in the school or she was going to hate it, but she quite enjoyed it, so she's now training to be a teacher, a physics teacher. So she's at university just now. She just studies at Glasgow University campus in Dumfries, and she doesn't go in every day. She's got placements that she's got to do at schools. So anyway, that's a long way of telling you that she's no in the day and I've got to take the wee man to youth club. So this is us back in Dumfries. I'm going to take you a little bit through the town. We'll cross over the River Nith, and we'll see if we can see any views with the 360. I think I've probably made a mistake when I bought the two DJI Osmo Action 4s. I think I should have just bought one and bought the 360 as well, because really and truly, since I got the 360, that was nice of them. Oh, he's letting that guy out. It wasn't us at all. Since I got the 360, I've not used the footage from the second Osmo, which I had mounted on the left-hand mirror. As you can see, I've even taken the mounting off it. I just didn't use the footage. So I'm at a little bit of a loss to know what to do with it. I've paid for it, and I'll probably lose a decent amount if I tried to sell it, so should I keep it as a spare? Probably the way to go. But I love the 360. I did notice that the kind of exposure, I'm not a camera guy, but the exposure, it's brighter than the DJI, that's what I'm trying to say. So I need to figure out a way to adjust that, so it looks like at least the footage is taken from the same model of camera, never mind anything else. So I've made an adjustment in the 360 into 360 software, and I've made an adjustment on the camera itself, so I'm hoping that it's not quite so, what was in my eyes a little bit overexposed. It just might be the way they are, and I might need to do everything when I'm editing it and adjust the contrast then, but I'm not very good at it, and I don't have a super high spec computer, so if I start messing about with stuff like that, it's probably going to take ages to edit, and it already takes long enough. So we'll go down past Halfords here, and then we're going to cross the River Nith. So hopefully, if I go nice and slow, we'll be able to see some views. Here we are. That's alright, isn't it?